Welcome back to part 2, Uzi Talking to with Soul Jam. Soul Jam. Just get a bit of warm up, you know. With music, you know, is that how you warm your voices up? Have you got any techniques, Joe?
He's got loads of like running reels.
That's good for the mouth and the just stretching this. We tend to do that a little bit.
But he sends them and they've got like a
like a little beat.
And they're great, 20-minute things.
Sounds like the back of the cream after lights out. It's crazy. Anyone can see this. We've got to get away with this.
Oh no!
What are you on there, lad? Give us some of that. So, Joanne, who was your musical, right, inspiration?
I'll have to, if I go really early, it's probably Shirley Bassey and Tom Jones, the big singers, Saturday night telly. Just remember getting shivers and big songs, big finish.
Favourite song from Shirley?
Shirley, gotta be This Is My Life, just for the emotion, and I can't sing it. Going already because it makes me cry. And I know I've heard Jackie Barker sing it.
Oh,
that makes me cry.
JB,
yes.
So
the Benidorm.
it's just you know, all them big songs. Goldfinger, anything that kind of grows and finishes on a big note with a feather boa, I'm in.
It's amazing because you've got a very wide range when you're on stage because you dance with this energy. Yeah, it's just where the dance comes from.
Yeah, I just go big or go home. I'm nearly 38 now. And
Hey!
2 hours by the way, you're not stopped.
just go big or go home. And 20 years ago, I couldn't have done it. Well, I remember when he said, we'll do the dance routines and, you know, singing. And I was like, I don't know if I can do that anymore, Jay. I haven't done it in a long time. And he just must have gone, yeah, right, yeah. Couple of runs. There we go. So I've done gigs where I've stood still and not felt that I've done enough.
Yeah.
So just do it, and I think I don't feel as foolish because I'm an old lady now. It's like, so what? Have it. Just have it.
So
What?
you generate it just comes off you, it flows out of you.
People seem to like it, so.
Yeah, but going on to Jay, what was your musical inspirations and first records maybe?
I was always massively influenced by the 60s stuff. I wanted to be a Beatle.
You look like a Beatle today.
What? Want to step on me? Yeah, the Beatles were my first love. You know, the harmony stuff and jangly guitars, and their song was just superb. And all that stuff. As a young lad, my first band, it was like 4-piece, and we used to play all the instruments, you know, and we'd do the Royal Irish things with all the 60s acts. I was only 16 at the time.
The Royal Irish, is that the boat? Like
Yeah,
the ferry?
yeah. That's where I met like Jeff Nugent, the Undertakers and all them, you know.
Yeah.
And as a kid I was like kind of in awe, and Lee Curtis and the All Stars, and so we did a few of them, and that was lovely, you know. But from that, I think it was the harmony stuff. It was a natural thing then to love the Motown and the soul stuff, you know. And yeah, the Four Tops, Levi Stubbs was loved Levi Stubbs' aggression, attacking his voice. Marvin Gaye, Smokey Robinson, Otis Redding, all heroes of mine, Jackie Wilson. And I was a big fan of Tom Jones, as Joe said, just a great singer, real soulful voice. Elvis was a big love of mine as a kid. I think when I was about 6, I always remember watching a programme on the telly, it was a film, and I just seen this guy, dark hair, and he was shaking his hips all over the place. Film was Jailhouse Rock.
Oh yeah.
I remember saying to me old fella,
Slapped him at me.
who's that? And I just sat there, had my jaw dropped.
That's the
You
king
know,
of
I
rock
thought
and roll,
that's-
son.
That was it. Rock and roll was for me, yeah. So anyway.
Yeah.
James, go on. What was your...
Yeah, pretty much like Jay. The Beatles for me first off, because Mersey beat me, that was in the Mersey beat groups, and I loved the big three and all that, you know. a lot of the Mersey Beach stuff.
Cavan did this one like the big three, and then,
Yeah.
We had Gary Murphy on the other week, and if you haven't seen Gary, he was mentioned about the big three. The
Johnny Hutch was a great guy, I met Johnny Hutch 2 years ago.
The Foremost and all that. And Beryl Marsden, you know, she was best in Cilla Black.
Beryl's a great guy.
Yeah, and she's a nice girl, I know Beryl. But then I found Otis Redding sitting on the dock of the bay on one of my dad's albums. I'll never forget it. It was like a compilation of all Stax, and it was Roberta Flack and all that. I just wore that album out, and that was it. I was hooked on soul and Motown, but we love the Stax era as well.
The Stax, is that the band with the...
No, Stax was a label.
Oh, go on, yeah.
Sam and Dave, Wilson Pickett. We say this when we're like, you know, any Stax fans in, and people are like, well, I don't know, what is it?
Wasn't Lloyd Price on that? The Stagger Lee one?
It might have been, mate, yeah. But
I'd be wrong.
But when you sing the songs, they know what it is, but they think it's Motown, but it's not. Motown was a totally different label to Stax. That was the Temps, the Four Tops and all that, Diana Ross.
Yeah.
For me, Stax had the edge. It was a bit more raw.
Yeah.
Like the commitments, like
A lot of Stax stuff was
more
Otis Redding.
More buff.
Otis Redding, you know, just from, I mean, Sam and Dave, their voices, you know, we do quite a lot of Sam and Dave stuff. And I was hooked on that. I didn't really, when I got to school, like all the kids in school, I listened to a bit of Rainbow and AC/DC and all that. I do like a bit of metal, but for me, definitely soul, Motown, Stax, yeah.
Can't beat it.
You can't.
And the thing as well, Jeff, I mean, I think it's that type of music that hits at least 75%, 80% of your audience. Because as you mentioned before the interview, it's timeless, isn't it? It's timeless.
Yeah, classic.
You can't go wrong with it if you're doing a bit of DJing and you see people and you put like a Motown hit, you know, Diana Ross, you know, wow, Baby Love, and everyone just gets up and it's just, there's no in between. It's soul, isn't it? Why, you know, the word soul is it gets into your soul, is that right? Why be called soul music? Because it gets into it's an uplifting, which you do, by the way.
It's a lot of passion about it, you know. You can't, you don't croon soul music, do you? You know what I mean? You gotta feel it.
So what about growing up? I mean, where did you grow up, Joe? In Liverpool, did you?
Tower Hill in Kirby.
In the Kirby, yeah.
Kirby, an estate that was, it was new. It kind of housed Scotty Road End, where everyone was kind of farmed out to Kirby, and this purpose-built estate was like for like a holiday villa.
Growing up in Kirby, wasn't it? Yeah.
So I loved it.
Are you still
The
friends
house
with
was
them?
huge.
Yeah.
Our house has been knocked down to make someone's back garden now, and instead of, because all the houses used to face the same way, and then they've had a rethink and rejigged it, so they've actually put roads in, and you've got a road name instead of a letter and a number. That's what I lived in G10.
G10. Kirby. What about you, Jay?
I grew up in what I would say the scruffy part of Chilwell. It's that side's Chilwell. It's Belvedere, up Fartbourne Avenue. My mum and dad are still there. It was great. Just loved it. You know what I mean? I'm still, mum and dad are still there, as I say. Still know everyone down there. The community was fantastic. And of course, typically, you know, you grow up in like the Coronation, the ale houses there, and they all get knocked down. The community disperses, doesn't it? Yeah. Which is sad. But great memories of growing up there. I loved it.
Brilliant. What about you, James?
Yeah, Wirral. Born and bred in Wallasey, mate.
Yeah.
Moved to Bromberg, then met my wife, moved to Morton, and I'm living up to. People think I'm a Scouser, but I'm not, you know, and these lovely people that brought me into the hub and treat me as one of their own.
Into the hub.
It's terrible, he's really
great, So when you first started your Soul Jam, right, and Joe joined you, what was the first, where was that?
I'll tell you when it was. No, the very first gig we did, and I know this because it was this week, because my Uncle Terry is 70 this week.
Happy birthday, Uncle Terry.
Happy birthday.
So I had sex at 70, and when he was 60, he said, do us a favour. He said, would you sing at me too, like, and all that, play a few tunes, and then I went, alright, so I'll come with a knife for you. Great guy, I'll tell you. And then I said to these guys, it was Joe and Neil Bones Malone at the time, I said, look, we had about 5 songs off, you know what I mean, we're just rehearsing in Neil's place. And I said, come along, I've got to do the solo thing, but I'll set 3 mics up, backline of guitar and stuff like that, and we did these 5 songs. That was the first ever gig we did, which was 10 years ago this week.
Blimey. Happy anniversary, everyone.
And yeah, it was a blur, because you're like, but it was good. Everyone's really enjoyed it, you know. We said, you've got to really push this a bit further, but I didn't expect it to take off as it did, but it did.
A lot of people there, then you get a good cheer.
Oh, it was wonderful, right? Yeah, it was great. Yeah.
I mean, the costumes, what inspired you? Like something like Peaky Blinders sort of look?
It was before that come out, Jeff. I was always do you know what I was?
Yeah.
I've always had this thing about Victorian England anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know why that is, but anything that's on TV, that's like that period, your Jack the Rippers and all,
yeah.
I watch it, you know. And I always was fascinated that these guys are walking around in like 3-piece suits and a flat cap. I thought, it's almost like a contradiction, do you know what I mean? But it worked. And I just said, well, we have the, Neil, I said, we would put the 3-piece gear on, you know what I mean? And I like the jazz thing with the black and white shoes and all that stuff. So we introduced, I said, but no, it's got to be the caps as well. Because I remember Neil going to me, caps? Yeah, just get the cap on your head. And it worked. And it's just, people are always saying...
Distinctive, stood out.
Well, of course, yeah. And if they don't remember the name, they'll say, oh, the lads with the caps and the girl with the beehive.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's it, isn't it?
Beehive, Joe.
Yeah.
How long does it take to put a beehive? Like,
well,
big Amy Winehouse?
I could tell you, Jeff, and then I'd have to kill you.
Okay, yeah.
It's a trade secret.
A trade secret for you divas, yeah. So when you're on stage, anyway, what are the... Have you got
I like to wear the gloves. I'm in and out of the gloves
stockings,
thing, and I think the gloves are going to be making a comeback.
I like the gloves.
I like the gloves. But the problem is, once we up-teched and we got touch screen, my gloves didn't work, so I could never press play.
Oh, the iPad, you press
okay,
It's like that. You usually have to take the glove off and
give us a minute.
Start the band up.
So the gloves got left, but I think I'll make a comeback and
Yeah.
just let you press
Yeah,
play.
well, I found a lot of aspiring gloves when I come on after you, by the way.
Oh yeah,
You know,
yeah. Used to forget them, didn't I? Draped on Betty.
Gloves everywhere, yeah, Betty Bill.
You saw use the first few years, remember the feather boas?
Oh yeah.
I love the feather boas.
And then
Put
he
the feathers
inhaled
in up in
one.
your mouth.
I inhaled the
Shut.
feather.
Oof.
So that's the last time I bought the feather.
I'm maneuver on stage, you know.
Like that piece of cake.
Pass it out!
Like a cat.
Yeah.
Where was that?
That's a feather.
Was that in the middle of the set?
Yeah.
Probably dancing in the
Feather.
street. Yeah.
People have died of less, like a garden pig, you know?
Yeah.
You know, you hear about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you're on stage.
Yeah.
Sue came
I'm
up,
glad you
but
don't do that,
felt sorry for the people outside the window. When they seen it go.
Oh my God.
So in all, like you're on stage, you're all dressed up. Sometimes it must be uncomfortable because you know I've danced about, or you just forget about it. Or
I love that. To be a dancer, that when this is going to sound disgusting, but I love sweat.
Yeah, I like that.
I like.
I feel like you're working
Yeah,
hard, yeah.
and you know, you just want to.
perspiring.
The only time I hate it is when you've got to have a break and
Yeah.
you
Got
can't get
cold.
changed.
Yeah.
You're freezing.
Sweaty shirts
Sweaty
on,
shirts,
all that,
yeah.
Changed, yeah.
But out of the three of us, I'm the one that always takes my shirts off at the end of the gig. I've got to.
Yeah.
But these just because
You lose a lot of sweat. I used to.
Yeah.
I just let you do all the work.
Yeah, I that. Yeah.
But
But
getting on now, Jeff.
yeah.
Dress so and you're going to keep this image. That's you're never going to
It's kind of
change.
stuck, isn't it?
I love
You know,
it. I love the image. That was one of the
Hard to move on.
reasons when I used to love watching. I think that you look great, you sound great, you are great.
And the crowd turns up. Most of the crowd like to get dressed up.
They do. Yeah.
I wish
You
Peaky
set the
Blinders.
trend,
Peaky
yeah.
Peaky Blinders coffee does.
Yeah. So
Just the
peakies. Stand by for part 3 when we're going to have a peek into your gigs and much more. Take care.